What is up, Jam fam? Today is kind of a big day. Let me tell you why. Today, we are going to finish the Shema, our in-depth word study of the Hebrew prayer from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. To celebrate the occasion, I was wearing this special homemade Shema shirt that a person made for me. You know who you are. But then it's really cold in here, so I took it off and put on this long sleeve shirt. But it's super cool. It says Deuteronomy 6, 4, and 5 on the front, and on the back it says the Shema in Hebrew and in English. So shout out to you, shirt maker out there. You know who you are. But yeah, today's an exciting day. We're going to knock this thing out of the park. Let's get started.
It's the
Jesus Jamboree! Bam! I have faith that we're going to finish the Shema today because we only have 2 words left. They're not super complicated, but they are very cool. So the schedule is as follows. We will talk about the word soul. We will take a quick break, and we will talk about the word strength and all the other words that the word strength might mean. So let's get right into it. In the Shema, we read, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and you must love the Lord your God with all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of your strength." Today, we're going to talk about the word soul. In Hebrew, the phrase ufchol nafshecha means with all of your soul. The word nafshecha means your soul, and the word for soul is nephesh. Now, in our culture, we kind of think of soul as like this floaty, ghosty thing inside of us that comes out when we die. I'm a soul. And then it rises up into the great beyond or something, whatever you think happens to that thing when you die. But the Hebrew concept of a soul is quite different. In fact, it's the exact opposite. The word nephesh actually refers to your physical body, like flesh and bone, and your life, like you as a whole person, your existence. In fact, it's kind of unfortunate that it's usually translated as soul because the word nephesh really truly means throat. Like, think about it. Your throat is the part of your body that receives food and water and oxygen and all the things that you need to take into your body if you want to keep living. So the Shema is not telling us to love the Lord our God with all of the ghosty thing inside of us that's going to come out when we die, but to love him with our actual physical bodies, the things we do and the lives that we live. So God is calling us to dedicate every minute of our very short lives and our bodies themselves to him and his purposes and his kingdom, which sounds a little different than our normal American idea of dedicating ourselves to God. It looks a little different than spending 10 minutes in our devotions in the morning and then going throughout our day not thinking about God until the next morning for 10 minutes. Now, dedicated devotional time is not bad. In fact, it's very, very good. But God is calling us to more. So to love the Lord your God with all of your soul really means to devote your life to him every minute of every day, to devote your body to him, to be willing to do what he says to do when he asks you to do it, which for a lot of people all around the world even has looked like dying for the sake of Jesus and his good news. Now, for most people, it won't look like actually laying down your life for the good news, but it might look like going to serve someone when you don't feel like it, or to wake up in the morning early if that's the best time for you to spend your quiet time with God. Whatever it is, he's asking us to be willing to give our physical bodies to him and to his purposes. Maybe God's calling you to be friends with someone at school or at work, even though you know that that relationship is going to be really draining for you. Or maybe he's calling you to sacrifice your time by getting more involved in church or finding other ways to serve people. These are all examples of loving God with all of our souls, or our physical human bodies and the lives that he gave us. And we see Jesus as the prime example of a person devoting their whole nephesh to God. Throughout his whole 33-year life on earth, Jesus listened to the Father and he did whatever the Father told him to do, even though it was hard and it was dangerous at times and it was exhausting. He did whatever the Father told him to do, even to the point of laying down his life on a cross for the sake of humanity. Again, God's not calling all of us to physically die, lay down our actual lives for the good news, but Jesus did say that anyone who desires to follow him has to deny themselves, their flesh, their actual life, take up their cross and follow him. That means to surrender control and do whatever he calls you to do. That's what it looks like to love the Lord your God with all of your soul. Now, before we move on to the word strength, let's take a quick break. An extreme sports break. Huh? That was extreme. Now let's talk about your strength. The last line in the Shema commands us to love the Lord our God with all of our strength, or in Hebrew, uvchol meodecha. Meodecha is your strength, and the word for strength is meod. However, this is one of the only places in the Old Testament where the word meod is translated strength. Meod usually means very, and they use it the same way we use it, to intensify the meaning of something. For instance, to state the undeniable fact that I am a very good dancer, I would say that I am a meod good dancer. Or to say that Meyer brand tortilla chips are very good, I would say that they are meod good. So meod means very. So God commanded people to love him with all of their very? Yes. Previously in the Shema, he commanded us to love him with all of our hearts, which is our mind and our thoughts and our emotion. Then he commanded us to love him with all of our souls, which we just talked about. To love him with all of our meod, or our very, intensifies all of those other things and encompasses every other aspect of our entire lives. It's the most vast and wide word in the Shema, and it basically tells us to devote every single aspect of every part of our being to him completely. To love God with all of your zeal, and as it's translated in the Shema, all of your strength. It means to love God with all of your but there's more. Me'od can also be translated as money or finances or increase. So to love the Lord your God with your me'od is a call to be free and willing, to be generous and honorable with your wealth and not hold on to every penny that you have. You might be thinking you now know what me'od means, but there's more! Me'od can also be translated as mind, so your thoughts and your consciousness and your intelligence. It's very similar to the idea of the heart. When Jesus was asked what the greatest commandment was, as you know, he quoted the Shema. But Mark and Matthew both recorded him as saying it differently. Mark records Jesus as saying, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength. While in Matthew's gospel, he just says heart, soul, and mind. So whether it's strength or very or money or your mind or whatever it is, the point is to love God with everything you've got. It's not limited to one thing or even a long list of things. It's kind of like the crescendo at the end of the Shema, commanding people to love the Lord their God with every ounce of their being. So if you were to say the Shema with the expanded meaning of each word that we've talked about here, it might go something like this. Listen to me, O Israel, and do what I say. Yahweh is your God, He and He alone. You need to show your love for Him by dedicating every thought that you think and every emotion that you feel to Him. Give every moment of your day to Him and even be willing to sacrifice your life for Him. Love Him with every penny in your pocket and every ounce of your being and everything you've got. Or one more time in Hebrew, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'achavta et Adonai Elohecha. V'chol lavavcha, uvchol nafshecha, uvchol meodecha. A while ago, I wrote out the Shema with the transliteration and the English words on it, and I'm going to put the link to the PDF for that in the description of this video if you want to check it out and memorize it for yourself. Otherwise, thanks for shemaing with me. I've had a great time. I hope you have too. And I'll see you next time on